Hey guys, welcome back to another video with InfoSec Pat. In today's video, we're going to be talking about BlueKeep. It's a vulnerability for Microsoft, the remote desktop service. It was about, I think, 2 years ago when this vulnerability was discovered. So what are we going to do in this video? I want to actually show you guys a little bit about the vulnerability, what we can do to compromise the vulnerability. And obviously, remember, this is all for educational purposes. This is set up in my lab environment. I have permission to do this. You want to make sure you have permission to do any kind of vulnerability assessment, exploitation, anything like that on your network. You know, this is VirtualBox on my machine, and I have a Windows 7 machine, and I have Metasploitable 3, which is a 2008 box. So this is all contained in my own environment. So remember, make sure you use these techniques in a practice lab to learn cybersecurity, to learn all these techniques, and of course, if you're going to use it in the real world, make sure you have permission to do so. All right, I just want to put that disclaimer out there before we actually start talking about Keep Blue, how we can discover if it's vulnerable, the system is vulnerable to it, what port it runs on. I want to show you all that stuff, okay? So let's go check it out. So if you see here, I have this machine. This is my Kali box, and a little bit about what is BlueKeep, right? So BlueKeep is a software vulnerability. You know, it's in the versions of Microsoft Windows. So the risk or the attack is the operating systems that run RDP, which is the Remote Desktop Protocol, which connects another computer over the network. So what is RDP? So a lot of system administrators use this. So you can use this to administer your servers, your Windows Server 2019, 2022, 2016. So I'm going to show you that in a second, what we can do with it, how to connect to a PC over remote desktop. We can use our desktop in Kali Linux to connect to a Windows box. I'll show you guys that shortly. All right, so I'm trying to scroll down on the wrong thing. So why is it a big deal, right? Like, why am I even showing you guys this? Because I've seen recently, I did an assessment and I did a video prior with Eternal Blue. And this is similar, you know, compromises the remote desktop protocol on port 3389. That's the default port. So Microsoft has warned that the Keep Blue vulnerability can cause a wormable cybersecurity outbreak. Okay, so obviously that's pretty critical. You don't want that, right? So for this reason, Microsoft said we're taking, you know, unusual steps to providing a security update for all customers to protect their Windows platforms. Obviously, this may have been patched. Hopefully, you guys patched it. If you guys haven't, you can test on your infrastructure before an actual, you know, a bad guy checks it out. So make sure you do this, right? Like, see if you have any Windows Server 2008, 2008 R2, Windows 7 machines, which I hope you're not running any of that stuff on your network, but sometimes you have legacy applications. Just make sure you can test against this and patch it up to whatever patch you can get, okay? So, you know, does it affect me? You know, you can read on and on. You know, you can just Google the BlueKeep Avast, and you can get here what is BlueKeep, okay? So what should I do about it? Download and apply any patches, right? That's super critical. Make sure your stuff is up to date, all right? So let's minimize this, all right? So I'm going to bring over, where's my Windows 7 machine? Actually, make this a little smaller. Now I'm bringing it over here for a second. So I have this Windows 7 machine right here. So if I let's open up Command Prompt, okay? Let me see if I can try to make this a little bigger for you guys. Font. Whoa. No, that's not good. Or we can just mess with the font. I guess we can't. Wow. All right. So I guess we can't. So if we do an IP config, whoops, I can't even see that. IP config. So my IP address is 172.16.1.14. This is my Windows 7 machine. Okay. I'm going to bring that back over here on the other side so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. So let's go ahead and open up a terminal. So we can use our desktop. So our desktop is a remote desktop function in Kali Linux, so you can remote into a Windows box. All right, so my IP was 14, right? Okay. So now we can see here, we have remote access. So RDP is open, right? And we can also run something else to show that. But let's go ahead and X out of here. We can run Nmap, okay? So it's going to be, I'm going to run an aggressive scan on port 3389, and then it's going to be 172.16.1.14. Okay, so we're just going to run for 3389. That's the default port for RDP. Okay, we'll give this a moment. Hopefully it'll give us some feedback, and with that feedback we'll know that this machine is running remote desktop. Obviously we know because we just tested it, but this is another way to, if you didn't know how to do the R desktop, you can run this Nmap scan running on to check port 3389 on the server. Okay, so we'll give this a moment, right? So let's make this a little bigger. Let's clear this out, and let's do sudo su. All right, let's clear that out. So that hasn't really said anything. All right, so now what? What are we going to do now? We have remote desktop. I updated my system and all that stuff. So now what we can do is to test it, right? So let's do MSF console, and we can give that a moment. We'll see what this happens here. All right. And I just want to make sure my Windows 7 box is up. I wish I could put it all on one screen, but I can't. It's over here on this screen over here. All right, so what do we have here? So we have Metasploit. So with Metasploit we can do is search BlueKeep and see if there's any exploits out there. So technically we can just go, let's actually zoom out of here. So we can make it a little more real estate. So we can do search BlueKeep. All right, so we see some stuff out there. So we have some matching modules. So we have an auxiliary we can scan to see if that RCE, which is remote code execution, is available. So let's try it. Let's use 0, okay? Let's do show out, or let's just do info really quick, okay? This will give us all the information, on here, right? So we got all the information. We can see it's TS. You can see the CVE is 2019-0708. Okay, let's do show options. So our R host is going to be, I'm looking over here, so it's going to be, we're going to do set R host. So it's 172.16.1.14, and we can just do run. Okay, this is going to go ahead and run and see if it's vulnerable to it. The auxiliary, it's scanned, it's up, it's running port 3389. All right, cool deal. This one's done. So 3389 is open. So we see that it's open, okay? And it's running Oracle. This is going to be very critical in a second because when we set up our exploit, we need to have this information. So for example, if you guys are running a VMware environment or a regular hardware environment like Windows 7 running on a regular desktop or a laptop, this is super critical. Remember, I'm running this in VirtualBox. This is all contained in my infrastructure. So we're going to be using VirtualBox because we see here the NIC, it's a VirtualBox NIC. Okay, cool. So let's go back to this guy over here and let's just go back. Let's clear. Let's do up arrow, search. So now we're going to use number 1. So now we're going to use the exploit. Okay. So now it's going to get a little fun. We got a little action here. So I just want to make sure I got my 172.16.1. Okay, perfect. All right, so now we can do show options. It's a little different now. So we can do the same kind of thing. We can do show payload. Okay. So let's do show payloads. This is all the payloads. Okay, let's clear this out. Show options. So right now my payload is Windows x86 interpreter reverse TCP. That's fine for me. I'm going to leave that payload because I want a reverse connection back to me. Okay, from the Windows 7 back to my Kali box. All right. So the next thing we can do is set our host. Okay, 172.16.1.14. Right. That's my show options. Okay. So we are good there. Now, what is the next thing we do? We just do info on here. We can see everything, the RDP, term dd.sys driver, blah, blah, blah. It improperly handles binds to internal only, channel, MS, T120, etc. And we can see that it's exploitation success against Windows Server 2008, and so on and so forth. So now we can see show targets. Okay, so this is what I said is pretty critical. We have to set, in my case, I'm going to do VirtualBox. So I want to use 2. Okay, set 2. Sorry. Okay. So show options. Whoops. Oh my God. Let me clear this. Show options. All right. So, all right. I don't know why that didn't work. Let's go ahead and try that again. All right. Let me do show targets again. Set targets. Maybe I did something wrong. I don't know. 2. Okay. Show options now. Now we have our target, Windows 7 SP1, because we're running VirtualBox. Remember that. That's going to be my case. Okay. So we have our port, which is going to be 3389 for RDP. We have our host, 172.16.1.14. We have our local host. And I think we should be good. I don't see any other things. The payload is going to be reverse Windows x64 interpreter reverse TCP. That's going to be my payload. And I think we should be okay. Now let's go ahead and try to exploit this. Okay, I'm looking at my Windows 7 machine over here. See if anything happens. We'll see if we can get a shell. We can see here the target is vulnerable, the target attempted cleanup, blah, blah, blah. And right here, the target is vulnerable. So we can see that it's doing something, okay? So I'll give it a second, leaving the danger zone. It rebooted my machine. It just rebooted my system here. So let's go ahead and start up normally and try this again. I'm not sure why that rebooted it, but let's see. That's why I wanted to bring it over here so I can show you guys what happened. And let's go ahead and log into here. Excuse me, I want to bring this back over here. Okay, we're going to do show options again, make sure everything is still in place. All right, let's go ahead. I want to bring this Windows 7 box over here. Let's go ahead and open up a command prompt. IP config, just make sure it's 14 still. All right, I just want to show you guys that I'm not doing any trickery. All right, so I'm going to bring that guy back over here. And let's try to do show options and exploit one more time. Okay, we'll give that a second. See, I'm looking at the Windows 7 machines, make sure it doesn't reboot again. We should get interpreter, but we'll give this a second. See if it works. Sometimes you have to reboot, sometimes things happen, and so on and so forth. So we'll give this a second, all right? Or a little more than a second. Come on, you can do it. Interesting how long this is actually taking. It's on. Okay, let's see if we leaving the danger zone. My Windows 7 is still up, as you see here. Windows 7 is still up. and no session has been created. That's really interesting. All right, so let's see why that is. We can see that 3389 is this really open? I know it's really open. Let's try to ping, make sure it can still ping. Okay, this is really interesting. Let's do show options. I don't want this video to go on too long, but everything seems to be okay. Threshold. Let's try to exploit one more time. Give it another run for its money. And we can see here, my Windows 7 is still up. I can still maneuver. Oh, there we go. All right, sweet. So now we have an interpreter. You see that? So now we are in. So now let's do a get UID. Boom. We are head honcho here. Okay? So what I'm going to do here, really quick, obviously we already got on the box. So we do an IP config. We can see that everything is here. Hostname. Who am I? But because we have to pop a shell to run these commands. So what we're going to do really quick now is we're going to do like info. Let's do help really quick. So in here we have a lot of information, right? So what I want to do is I want to dump the hash. I'm going to do a hash dump, okay? Right here, password database. So I want to do a hash dump. Okay, so now I just dumped the hash for keep blue, administrator, guest, InfoSec Pat. All right, so now I'm going to load Kiwi, which is Mimikatz. If you guys aren't familiar with Mimikatz, it's a really cool tool. So right now, if we do help again, we should see that loaded in here, the Kiwi commands. Okay, so now what we're going to do here is creds underscore all. We're going to retrieve all credentials. Okay, so let's try that. Creds underscore all, and bada bing, bada boom. We got the password for BlueKeep. So here, if I log out of here, before we log out, I want to show you something. Okay, I'm going to make a I'm going to make a new folder so I want to show you guys. I'm going to put InfoSec Pat BlueKeep. Okay, and I want to bring this back over here, and let's go ahead and shell this. Okay, let's do cd. Let's do dir. Let's cd into users. Dir. Cd to BlueKeep because we're on BlueKeep. Oh my God. cd, I can't really talk, and type dir. So now let's go ahead and go to desktop and do a dir, and we should see that right here, InfoSec Pat. We're on that machine. So this is it. This is pretty much everything that has to do. Let me open here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now we compromised the system. We were able to exploit that vulnerability. And sorry it took longer than expected. Sometimes these things are hit or miss. I had to reboot the system. I had to log in. That's the beauty of cybersecurity, right? It's not like just a click of a button and you're in a system. It's trial and error. You have to keep going. But hopefully it's been informative for you guys. And like I always say, thank you for checking me out. And please like, subscribe, share. And remember, this is only for educational purposes. This is all in my lab. I can show that to you right here. Let's minimize, show this. And let's bring over my lab. Let's make this bigger. These are all my machines in VirtualBox. And if I go class, I have a lot of stuff in here. So yeah, these are all my VMs. So I have full control over my infrastructure. So again, thank you so much and have a good one.